She thought the house was perfect. New floors, quiet street, fresh start. But the ground under her feet was never meant to be walked on again. When screams started coming from the basement, she thought it was just pipes. But pipes don't whisper your name or tell you not to open the door. This is the story of the Harris family and the house that should have stayed buried. You think your house is safe? Think again.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Silent Scream. If you're one of my returning subscribers, you already know what you signed up for. Creepy, true-feeling horror stories that'll make you double-check your doors before bed. And if you're new here, welcome. I bring you stories that crawl right under your skin. Every night, we go deep into dark basements, haunted woods, cursed towns, and places you'd never want to be alone. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and settle in, because tonight's story isn't just another haunting. It's about what happens when the dead finally decide they want their home back.
The first scream came from the basement. It was sharp, echoing, and full of pain, like someone had been trapped down there for years and just found a voice. Sarah dropped the laundry basket. Her heart stopped for half a second before she told herself it was nothing. The house was new, after all. New houses made weird noises, right? But when she walked to the basement door, her dog Max growled low, backing away, teeth showing. The air was freezing, way colder than the rest of the house. She reached for the handle, her hand shaking, and the sound came again. A whisper this time. "Don't open it." Sarah froze. The words were clear, too clear. She stared at the door. The handle twitched. She ran upstairs, slammed the kitchen door, and called for her husband, Mark. But before he could answer, the lights flickered, and the whole house seemed to breathe, walls creaking, floors shifting, something moving beneath them. That's when Sarah realized what the real estate agent hadn't told them. This house wasn't built over nothing. It was built over someone. When the Harris family moved into 11 Clover Lane, it felt like a dream. A big house, clean walls, shiny floors, and a quiet neighborhood. The kind of place where people watered lawns and waved at each other every morning. Sarah loved it instantly. Mark said it was a fresh start. Their two kids, Emma, 15, and Jake, 12, ran from room to room, arguing over who got which bedroom. The place still smelled like paint and wood polish. The basement was huge, perfect for storage. But that first night, the dream cracked a little. They all heard noises, soft thumps, dragging sounds, and whispery voices that faded as soon as you turned your head. Sarah told herself it was pipes, wind, or imagination. Mark blamed old foundation sounds, even though the place was brand new. Still, something about the house felt off. The second night, Jake woke up to footsteps in his room. He thought it was Emma, so he threw a pillow and yelled, "Get out!" No one answered. He turned on his lamp. The floor was empty, but the air felt thick, like the room was holding its breath. Then he saw footprints in the dusk near his closet. Bare footprints, small, like a child's, but darker, wet-looking. He screamed. His parents came running, but when they checked, the footprints were gone. "Just a nightmare," Mark said, rubbing his eyes. Jake swore it wasn't.
Days passed. The house started changing. Doors opened on their own. The TV turned on at 3 a.m. with static showing blurry faces. Sometimes Sarah felt her hair tugged gently when she was alone. Emma heard whispers through the vents that said her name, slowly, like a warning. Then the smell started. It came from the basement. Damp, earthy, like wet soil mixed with something rotten. Mark tried to find the source but didn't see anything wrong. The foundation looked solid. He didn't tell Sarah that when he dug a little near one wall, he found bones, tiny ones. He buried them back quickly and told himself they were animal remains. One afternoon, an old man from the neighborhood stopped by. His name was Mr. Walters. He looked nervous standing on their porch, hands shaking. "You folks just moved in?" he asked. "Yeah," Mark said, smiling. Walters glanced behind him at the house, like he didn't even want to look at it. "You might want to get that basement checked," he muttered. "This whole area used to be an old burial ground. Native tribes way back. They said you shouldn't build over it." Mark frowned. Burial ground? There wasn't anything about that in the papers. The old man gave a weak laugh. "I never write that down, son. But every house built near here never stays quiet." Before Mark could ask more, Walters walked away fast, limping like he couldn't leave quick enough. That night, Mark didn't sleep well. It got worse after that. Sarah started finding muddy handprints on the walls, child-sized, sometimes smeared, always wet. The air vents hissed with voices too low to understand. One morning, Emma came downstairs, pale as chalk. "Mom?" she whispered. "There's a girl in my mirror." Sarah blinked. "What?" "She's not me. She moves slower, and she's crying." They went upstairs together. The mirror looked normal until Sarah leaned closer. There was something behind her reflection, a dark shape standing just over her shoulder. Then the mirror cracked. A thin, whispering voice hissed, "Get out!" They ran out of the room. Mark finally called someone in to inspect the house, an old local historian named Clara Finch. She arrived with dusty books and a grim face. "This land," she walked through the living room, "was once a sacred burial site. Around 200 years ago, settlers dug it up by mistake. They built over it thinking nothing of it. The ground's never rested since." Sarah swallowed hard. "So, what do we do?" "Usually, you move." "That's it?" Mark asked. Clara's eyes darkened. "If you stay, you'll feed it. The house takes from you. Fear, warmth, life, it doesn't care. It just wants to remember what was taken from it." She turned toward the basement door. "And that's where they lie." That night, they heard the crying again. It started softly from the vents like someone sobbing far away. Then it spread under the floor, inside the walls, above the ceiling. Jake was shaking. "Mom, make it stop." Sarah hugged him, her own heart racing. Then they all heard footsteps, heavy ones, coming up from the basement. The handle rattled, metal clinking. Mark grabbed a baseball bat. "Stay behind me." The handle turned itself. The door creaked an inch open. The smell hit them, dirt and death. And then, out of the darkness, a small hand reached through. Thin, gray skin, long black nails. Sarah screamed. Mark slammed the door shut and locked it. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the entire basement door shook violently, as if dozens of fists were pounding from the other side. The house shook. The light flickered. Then, all at once, it stopped.
They packed their things that night. Emma refused to go upstairs alone. Jake cried quietly. Sarah just wanted out. But when Mark tried to start the car, it didn't turn on. The engine was fine. The keys worked. It just wouldn't move. The house lights flickered again, and the basement door creaked open on its own. From the top of the stairs, they saw something moving in the darkness. Shadows crawling up the walls, forming shapes. faces, and voices whispering louder this time. You built over our graves. You live where we died. Now, stay. Mark yelled for everyone to run. They bolted for the front door, but when Sarah reached for the handle, it wasn't there. The knob was gone, just smooth wood. The windows were sealed too. No glass, no way out. Emma screamed as black, ghostly arms slithered from the walls, reaching for her. Mark swung the bat, hitting air. The arms just melted back, leaving cold streaks where they'd touched. The whole house began to shake. Paint peeled. The floor split open in the hallway, showing dirt below. Fresh, dark soil. Then they saw them. Figures rising from the ground. Men, women, children, their eyes hollow and their mouths open in silent cries. Their skin was gray and cracked, like they'd been pulled from the earth. One reached out toward Sarah. You took our home. Now we take yours, it whispered. She stumbled back, screaming, clutching Jake. Mark tried to shield them, but the ghosts surrounded him. The air turned freezing. His breath came out white. The floorboards cracked beneath him, and then he was gone. Pulled under, like the ground had swallowed him whole. Sarah fell to her knees, screaming his name, but all she could hear were whispers circling her head. Join us. The basement door was open now, and from inside came a soft red glow. A week later, the police found the Harris family's car still in the driveway. The house looked untouched. No signs of damage, no sign of Mark. The report said the basement had structural issues and was sealed off for safety. But people in town whispered about seeing shadows moving behind the curtains or hearing screams when they passed by at night. Mr. Walters stopped walking down Clover Lane completely. Months later, a new family bought the house. They said it felt warm and full of energy. They laughed when someone mentioned the old stories. That night, their little boy ran to his parents' room crying. "There's someone in my closet," he said. His mom smiled sleepily. "It's just your imagination, honey." But when she went to check, the closet door was wide open and a muddy handprint smeared across the wall. Still wet, still waiting.